Good day to you all. I hope you have been having a fantastic day or week. I know I have been having a fantastic week because I've been doing nothing but play Silksong ever since it was released. And due to the fact that I cannot unfortunately play Silksong on this channel because my laptop is too dog shit to be able to handle that while recording, I want to at least give it my thought after having played it for 12 hours, which I think is pretty fair for giving initial thoughts on a game, and this is gonna be the first time that I do this. Maybe later, when I get a better laptop, I will do some modding shenanigans on Hollow Knight Silksong when the app for modding it releases, but for now, there's gonna be no Silksong videos other than this, guys, I'm sorry. But it's fine. Watching others play the game that you like is boring anyway. Play it for yourself first. So allow me to start by saying this game so far has been amazing. The world building in some areas are amazing and some of them are just good, and the OSC in like all of them are amazing. I would even go as far as to say the soundtracks of this game are even better than Hollow Knight itself. Some of them are so incredible that for the gloomy ones, moments where you randomly pretend to be depressed at a 3 a.m. night and then having a Hollow Knight Silksong soundtrack play in your head is gonna go so hard, dude. And currently, after having played for 12 hours, I am at the middle of Act 2, I think. I'm not gonna be spoiling much, or at least try not to explain things by spoiling things. I do want to keep it spoiler friendly, because if you want to play the game for yourself and if you suddenly get spoiled here, well, it's not gonna be so fun now, would it? But I am still gonna be saying boss names, because no way anybody's gonna hear a boss name and then they go like, oh, there goes the joy of the game, man. Ah, shit, how am I supposed to enjoy the game now? You spoiled 2 names, how could you? But anyways, also I think the fact that the game only costs $20 is amazing. I haven't finished the game, so I can't say if it's a steal or not fully, but right now the game has been a bang for the buck if you ask me. But now let's talk about one of the biggest complaints that I see most people have, and it's the enemy designs. I have noticed in the first 10 minutes of playing personally that they have definitely taken a Souls-like approach to this, where it's an RPG and you as the main character are role-playing as the victim, and every enemy that you encounter that looks like it has the potential to absolutely rip you apart will in fact rip you apart. For some reason they really liked making enemies do 2 damage to you by removing iframes, which I think didn't make sense because in Hollow Knight not Silksong it was not at all like that. Now they could have just had the idea to make it not too similar to Hollow Knight non-Silksong in that sense, but just because we have been playing Hollow Knight for all this time that we have been waiting for Silksong's release doesn't mean that we could be any better in Silksong. Me personally, I've been managing pretty well to avoid deaths by enemies, if I do say so myself. However, I have seen people in my Discord server complain a lot about how the enemies are stronger than some of the bosses. Bosses like the 4th Chorus and the Sister Splinter, I think the big wooden nymph was called that, they have been pretty cool, even though they might have felt a little slow, but still the OSC and the environment was cool enough for it to make up for that. Some of the enemies that you might encounter do feel like that they will make you feel like the victim. Like they've legitimately made this game feel like 9 Souls, where in each encounter that you find yourself in, you're gonna be praying to God that you don't die. And some of the enemies do feel like bullshit, especially the flying ones. Dude, in one of the gloomy areas where the enemies are mostly birds, they fly so stupidly. Like they are always, unless you finesse them somehow, out of melee range for you, where even if you try your hardest to jump and slash, it's not gonna work. Some of the enemies definitely do feel annoying to fight, where you just skip the fight by avoiding them. But a lot of the enemies, like in the Hunter's March area, where a normal enemy has 3 unique attacks, 1 parry, and I don't know, some other attack that might seem complicated, where I have seen bosses have less moveset than that, such as the 4th Chorus. And I do believe the reason for that could be the fact that this game has been taking so long to release that the devs of Team Cherry have seen us be doing crazy shit in Hollow Knight non-Silksong that they thought of making Silksong more difficult than what it was gonna be. So yeah, the combat in open world definitely feels like it is way harder than Hollow Knight non-Silksong Silksong. However, that is also, I think, is because of the moveset that is given to Hornet, and you can do some pretty cool shit with Hornet, such as the pogoing, the way that she pogos. Unless you get a certain crest that I am not going to say the name of, the way you pogo requires you to do some math in your head to be able to not look like an idiot, which has happened to me fairly a lot in my playthrough. Like, the way that combat in certain arenas of this game is gonna look is either you're gonna be acrobatic as shit or you're gonna be terrible as shit. There could be no in between, but that entirely depends on you. But yeah, and due to the said moveset that Hornet has, navigation in the open world and exploring in general feels so good. It feels fast. You feel like you are not in the same area for too long for it to get boring. And moving right over that, also looking at the achievement of this game, it was concerning. Like, they've definitely slapped some of the Hollow Knight non-silksong's achievements right onto Silksong, and I am seeing right now that 100% in this game is gonna be difficult as shit. According to the achievements, there's also a steal mode to this Souls-like. Yeah, if anybody is able to do that, they are an absolute mad lad or they are a cheater. There's no in between. And also, these set achievements do spoil some little things, which I honestly think don't matter, but if you don't want spoilers, just don't look at the achievements, it's alright. And one of these set achievements also includes finishing the game in under 5 hours. This achievement in Hollow Knight non-silksong made total sense because, first of all, the game wasn't separated in different acts, and also most of the areas were already accessible to the player if they were agile and skilled enough. But in Silksong, where every encounter feels as hard as trying to move a mountain, and the size of the world, which is really big, I don't think this achievement is gonna not involve a glitch, at least, but that's just me. But like I said earlier, let's not really dictate anything for sure when we haven't finished the game, or at least I haven't finished the game. And also, the mechanics of your inventory and what you can equip on yourself. First of all, I think the crests are pretty cool. I like how you can just change your playstyle entirely. And also, some of the charms feel really useless, like the beginning one that you get from a side quest, which is like the moss berry thing. I forgot its name. It gives you half a silk when you take damage, and you need 8 whole silks to be able to heal yourself for 3 hearts. And also, healing in this game is really difficult. Well, it's really good in boss fights, where if a boss is slow and you just find one window of healing, well, you're full HP if you heal right. But in open world, where you need full silk bar before you get a spool fragment completed, whatever, you're gonna need 8 whole silks to heal for 3 hearts, which by the time you might get those silks in the same encounter, you might just die because everything just 2 damage, and they're wild enough and very smart for you to just never land a hit on them. Every enemy is way smarter than the enemies in Hollow Knight non-silksong for some reason, which makes this whole healing mechanic really difficult. Again, it works really well on boss fights, but really not so much in encounters that the game non-consensually puts you in when you expect them the least to happen. Which also brings me to my next point, is that the game has 40 bosses, right? Well, where are they? I have seen more of these encounters where the game puts you in a room and throws a series of little enemies at you, but half the times that they did that, they could have just thrown a boss at you. But this is necessarily not a bad thing, because it could just mean that this game is really big. And if there's as many of those encounters as there are bosses, well, this game is gonna be like a steal if it's $20. It's gonna provide many hours of gameplay and it's gonna be great. So in general, so far I think the game is really good, but not really overwhelmingly good. So far it hasn't done anything groundbreaking, like how it happens in Hollow Knight with its insane story. The only thing groundbreaking so far that I've seen it do is break the grounds of how angry my friend could get at the regular enemies more than bosses. But not everybody gets to see that, so let's just ignore that for now. But again, I haven't finished this game, so I can't say for sure that it is absolute peak. Even though I have a lot of faith in Team Cherry's work and I know this game is gonna prove itself in the later hours of the game, I still want to be the judge of that myself and finish this game, and then I'll give some more thoughts on that. But yeah, I wanted to have a video like this because I'm really not gonna be having any Silksong videos on my channel for now because my laptop just can't handle it. I need to buy a better laptop and it might take a while for that to happen. But even then, when I get a better laptop, I'm not gonna have a normal playthrough of it. I'm gonna do the same thing that I do with Ultra Kill and Hollow Knight non-silksong, where I just play around with mods. So yeah, tell me what you think of the game so far in the comments. I really wanna know. And also put a spoiler warning in what you're gonna write if you are gonna be naming some important and big names, so that the others that might be reading through the comments don't have their experience potentially ruined, even though I doubt that's gonna happen. So yeah, like, comment, and subscribe, and take care. Silksong is a game that alternates between ripping my nuts off and holding me upside down underwater, then giving me a kiss on the cheeks, a warm mug of the hot chocolate, and the most beautiful artwork I've ever seen. That would summarize the video perfectly.